In 2019, when Yen.com listed their top 5 most controversial personalities in Ghana, they ranked Kwame A Plus as the least controversial, considering the comrades involved. Afia Schwarzenegger at number 1, Shatawale number 2, Kwapim number 3, Councillor Lutrot 4, and Kwame A Plus ranked at the number 5 position. It's not bad. Over the course of 2 decades, 20 years, Kwame A Plus has proven to be headline news maker. But how does he do it? You could say 48 laws of powers and you will not be far from the truth. However, join us today as we take a deep dive into A Plus' entire career journey from the village to the presidency. 6th March 1977, the owner of Gomuaman Preparatory School, Mr. Daniel Kwesi Obeng, and his wife Elizabeth Obeng welcomed their second born. It was Sunday, but they decided to name the baby boy Kwame Obeng Asare. All along, I thought Kwame is for Saturday borns. Well, let's forget about that and focus on more controversial issues. Kwame started his educational journey in his own father's school, Gomuaman Preparatory. At a young age, Kwame really enjoyed reading. However, he did not limit his reading to Anansi stories, My First Book of Bible Stories, Awake or Watchtower, but he will go a step further to be reading newspapers that his father brings home. The habit of reading newspapers led to him developing special interest in social issues and politics. Besides reading, Kwame also had passion for music. Therefore, during his high school education at Breman Eskuman Secondary School, he took advantage of the entertainment night to start a career in music. He would perform to entertain his schoolmates during entertainment night almost every weekend. Growing up, Kwame always had a dream of making a nationwide impact through his interest and passion. He knew very well that he would not be able to make any significant achievements if he is to stay in the village all his life. Even though the Obeng family were the richest in the entire Gomuasebu village, Kwame Asare decided not to stay in his comfort zone, and that is why at the age of 21 years old, he embarked on a journey to the capital city, Accra.
I came here, lived at Makati here. We used to sleep at Benji's pub. When Benji's was being built, we used to sleep in the pub.
There was a brand new record label in town looking for musicians to sign onto their label. So Bolare advised A Plus to join the talent hunt competition organized by the label. Kwame joined the competition, won the second position, and as a reward was signed by the label Hash Hash Records. In the early 2000s, A Plus released his first album with Hash Hash Records, but the album was not successful, so A Plus and the Hash label had to split and go their separate ways.
Eti bibi mention na dem call mention ho. Mention ya on kubolo. No or DKB studio. Okay. I will not condition
to record his next song, Freedom of Speech. Fifi Banson was the first person to play Freedom of Speech live on radio and decided to do a breakdown of the song. When I say breakdown, it's not the Kojo Shedden kind of breakdown. No, it was not a joke. Imagine you listen to someone like this in a language or proverb he does not understand. All of a sudden, headless YouTuber come and decides to break it down.
He replayed it like 5 times and he played it line by line. I said, why does Fifi want the people to hear exactly what I was saying? Just play this thing, let's go. And he kept playing it and he kept explaining it. So I put the radio I was listening off and I just went out.
The song was the first of its kind in Ghana.
This is the first time in Ghana, at least, that I've heard any musician be so political and blunt.
Even though the song was actually titled Freedom of Speech, it became popularly known as meaning I'm even scared of what I'm saying. Truly, his parents were scared of.
My dad went to a radio station in Winneba and told them not to play the music.
Really?
Yeah, because
he was afraid.
Yeah.
Those days near ton cassette I walk on. See me now say Akufo boche which so anko hwe ne yakoso. Te because you no omo bon nyom no. And Akufo to no kasa akwa we ye be china to na me se me gina ho bi so obi ani. E me gina na me tie bi na Akufo ha. Akwa no yesu oni krom ha. Se da bi o ha. And na bronsan bi ba ho no se. And you're the big band that produce you. Oh, yeah, one of Basura.
Oh, that's
so the mommy moving and here now, so near.
In 2002, A Plus will become the promoter of Bob Santos' movie Village Court. After this, he will go on to organize Independence Beach Jam at Labadi Beach in March 2003 and bill artists like Kokoveli, KK Fosu and Batman Samini to perform. In 2004, A Plus released a new track titled
Agyapong.
This Agyapong song summarized what happened in Ghana's political domain over the previous 4 years. It became even a much bigger hit song and solidified Kwame A Plus as a first-class controversial musician in Ghana at the time. And come 2005, A Plus surprised Ghanaians with the release of an Afro dancehall tune, Mirror. Mirror, mirror. The reason he gave for releasing the love song was, I want to be the only one who is capable of doing what I do, but can also do what you do. However, it was that same year that Kwame welcomed his first child with his secret lover. Mirror changed the perceptions Ghanaians had about A Plus musicality and therefore were ready to dance to more love tune from A Plus. But he vanished from the music scene in 2005 and reappeared in 2007 to release a letter to Parliament, in which he sang about how parliamentarians always beg the ordinary people for their votes, then neglect them after winning power, only to return 4 years later to beg for votes again and go on to neglect them again and again and again. Going forward, Ghanaians had mixed reaction about Kwame A Plus political affiliation.
People have labeled me NDC, some have labeled me NPP, but I know where I belong.
In 2008, whilst the debate about his political affiliation is still going on, Kwame A Plus interrupted the debate by releasing another letter, but this time around it was a letter to the West featuring Prayer. In this song, A Plus did not talk about Ghana's political and social issues, but he rather talked about Africa in general. He tackled the corruption in Africa, the poverty in Africa, the wars, hunger, the bad leadership, and shortly after this, A Plus will go on to do something that many Ghanaians have been waiting for him to do for so long. A Plus finally revealed his true political colors. He publicly endorsed Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for president during the 2008 general elections. However, Nana Addo lost the presidential election to
I, as president of this nation.
So, that same year, A Plus decided to form the People's Project Foundation, TPP. When people say that TPP is a political party, A Plus says, no, it is not a political party. But mind you, the TPP's agenda is to get 1 million or more legitimate voters to build a bargaining chip, hoping that at some point in the future, a political party may need their support to win an election, and the TPP will use their deciding factor to make demands that must be fulfilled within a 2-year period. Whilst waiting for that fateful day where TPP will be the kingmakers, Kwame A Plus and his TPP has undertaken various charity projects for a lot of communities across the nation. TPP has also raised funds to pay for medical bills and school fees for a number of individuals. It's an amazing organization you should consider joining, if not for anything, for the charity and developmental works they do. Let's go back to the story and dive into some controversies, because that is why you subscribe to this channel. 2009 came and Kwame also came with Excuse Me. In this song, he exposed and made fun of the internal conflict within the NPP. Because of this, members of the NPP started labeling Kwame A Plus as betrayer, hypocrite and NDC sympathizer. So, Kwame will go on to focus on his events organizing agency, Console Entertainment, and in October 2011 will organize a 3-day event dubbed Ghana Music and Food Festival at International Trade Fair Center. It was the first of its kind in Ghana, which seek to use one platform to project Ghanaian culture, music, food, and drinks to another level. The venue was divided into 3 different stands for over 75 artists to perform. One stand for gospel music lovers, powered by Adum FM. Another stand for high life band music lovers, powered by Oman FM. And the third, hip life, hip hop, reggae music stand, also powered by YFM. The event was successful, but console entertainment did not make the money they were expecting. On the 24th July 2012, we lost our president, Professor John Evans Fifi-Atta Mills. Therefore, Musical released this all-star tribute song. Almost every single Ghanaian was deeply touched by this song, except the one and only Kwame, who was born on a Sunday. A Plus questioned, why is it that the song was not produced by the Musical as a union, but rather Obwo as an individual? But mind you, Obwo was the leader of the union at the time. He went on to say that all the musicians on the song could have also made a tribute song on their own. And obviously this was not received well by a large section of the public, and it generated lots of backlash like this, and more. Since it was already an election year, A Plus will go on to wear his NPP campaign t-shirt. Yes, during the 2012 election season, he campaigned for the NPP again, and this time they lost again. So, during John Mahama's 4-year administration, Kwame made it an agenda to criticize Mahama on his Facebook page on a regular. Fast forward, 2016 came, and it came with A Plus' biggest hit song ever, Abenbebom, which literally means Judgment Day trumpets will blow. In Abenbebom, he exposes corruption and scandals of the NDC government and prophesied that they will lose the next general election, and also sounded a strong warning that once Nanado takes over power, every corrupt NDC official who has ever stolen from the national coffers will go to jail. In addition to sounding the Judgment Day warning, Kwame Asare also came up with a very controversial idea, so he had to meet with the economic wizard Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to discuss it. Bawumia was so happy with the idea and agreed that the party will sponsor to make it happen, and that is to create a fake news website by the name Daily Graphics, which sounds the same as Daily Graphic, and recruit some members of the NPP's communication team to write and publish fake and satirical news about John Mahama and NDC in general. And because a large section of the public couldn't differentiate between the legit websites of Daily Graphic and the fake Daily Graphic, made the diabolic plan work perfectly, and even to the extent that some radio and TV stations picked stories from the Daily Graphics website and included them in their news reportage. Before all of these, he and Chris Vincent were already operating the satirical website by the name screwlife.com to screw the lives of not only politicians but also some ordinary innocent Ghanaians such as this. Finally, 7 December will come. Ghanaians will go to the polling stations to vote, and at the end of the day, lo and behold, just as Kwame prophesied in Abenbebom, Adorye won the 2016 general election. But during the Thanksgiving speech, Nanado shocked the world. He failed to acknowledge all the effort and sacrifices Kwame A Plus put in for him to finally win the presidential seat. But Kwame did not say anything yet, and a few days later, Adorye made a tweet to acknowledge A Plus as a brick in his presidential victory. And shortly afterwards, A Plus was rewarded a bulk oil storage and transportation contract for being such a darling boy. Now, NPP is in power. Kwame A Plus has been given a bust contract and has also become the special assistant to the CEO of Kolebu Teaching Hospital. This made some people started asking questions like, will he continue to make music like Excuse Me to talk about internal issues within the NPP party, or will he make a song like Abenbobom to expose corruption within Nana Addo's administration? And barely 8 months after Nana Addo was sworn into power, Kwame A Plus made a corruption expose. That was on 27th August 2017 when he made a Facebook post accusing the two deputy chief of staffs, Francis Asensu-Boakye and Samuel Abu-Jinapor, for corruption and thievery, and then questioned why that Nana Addo even appointed these two thieves to occupy such positions. But the reality behind the scenes was that the two deputy chiefs of staff were blocking some changes being made by Kwame A Plus and his godfather, Dr. Anya, at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. And that is, they cancelled an MOU that the hospital had with the Unibank for revenue collection. Cancellation of the MOU didn't sit well with both Unibank and some of the NPP party officials because Unibank helped the NPP financially during the 2016 general election campaign. Meanwhile, Dr. Anya also has an old beef with the bank. At the same time, A Plus also has his own beef with the deputy chief staffer Francis Asensu-Boakye.
Now I have the full gist for you.
The full gist is that Dr. Anya is the owner of Holy Trinity Medical Center, and they had a contract of providing healthcare services to the workers of Unibank and Unicredit. But Unibank cancelled their contract with Holy Trinity, and their reason for cancelling was that Trinity overinflated the cost of health services they are providing to them. So now, as the CEO of Kolebu, it was the opportunity for Dr. Anya to show them where power lies now. Kwame A Plus was also beefing the deputy chief of staff Francis Asensu-Boakye because he refused to help him secure a contract at the Controller and Accountant General Department. A Plus wanted to get the contract for printing public sector workers' pay slip and needed Asensu-Boakye's influence to secure the contract, but the presidential staffer refused. So apparently, A Plus just accused the two presidential staffers of corruption in order to silence them over the CEO's revenge on Unibank and also to score revenge for himself. Nana Addo asked the CID to investigate, and at the end of the day, the expose was described as baseless and without merit by the Financial Forensic Unit of the CID. So Kwame A Plus had no option than to apologize to Abu-Jinapor and Asensu-Boakye. This false expose based on personal and selfish interest made a large section of the NPP to see Kwame as an albatross around their neck. Even a group calling themselves Media Forum called on Nana Addo to call on his darling boy to order. As a result, some executives of the NPP party started distancing themselves from A Plus as if he has corona. But all this did not stop Kwame A Plus from criticizing the NPP administration. And because of the continuous criticism, NPP full soldiers started labeling him as bitter. Regardless, he will go on to make more controversial statements, especially during Adorye's second term in office. And talking about controversies, even if you put politics aside, Kwame's view on almost any topic is controversial. Bring up anything at all. This actually goes to show how religiously A Plus live by the book 48 Laws of Power, especially law number 5 and 6. Law number 5 says, learn to destroy your opponents by opening holes in their reputations, then stand aside and let the public drag them. And the number 6 also says, draw attention to yourself by creating controversies. Do anything to make yourself shine brighter than the people around you. And it's better to be insulted than ignored. Unironically, in 2017, when Ghana met Niger, the classic performance of the God MC Manifest tickled A Plus to confirm that Yeah, he has actually mastered the 48 laws of power. And of course, he opened holes in Manifest's reputation by making this Facebook post. You think that if my father was Chachuchukata and I was taken to some of the best schools in the world, I'll be wearing kaba, rapping a rich rubbish? Like by now, I'll be some CEO or business executive who employs hundreds. Again, when you insult me, the insult keeps me moving. Look for the 48 laws of power and read law 5 and 6. Listen, I do it so well, Bemi people. So, living by this book, A Plus continues to drag all manner of people on his social media pages, especially Facebook, just to attract insult to himself. Although his music career is over, A Plus still plays a role in the Ghana music industry as an entertainment pundit on various radio and television talk shows. He has become a regular pundit on UTV's United Showbiz, and as you would expect, wherever A Plus goes, controversy follows.
But I've done my part by telling the truth.
It's Majid, what's your take on it?
No, Majid is saying that in speaking with Shatta,
Yes.
I should be able to tell Shatta that
In the face.
it's not
Right,
right.
okay.
But Arnold, what do you think is the obvious?
We know they want one. I mean, I say you to be a old boom now. Abuse one now. They want one.
He initially said this about E-Levy.
Can E-Levy save Ghana?
They always look for a lazy way to make money to chop.
And you think E-Levy is lazy?
Yes, I want to support NDC in their fight against E-Levy.
And then later turned around to say this. Kwame blasted Abna Koko for publicly revealing people she has sex with.
I was a police chief Abna Koko. Abna Koko home the no kwasoro we buri. Okori ya ho akopia. Aso no guye.
And we pastors.
Aden, who the osi wi na ba wonantem. Aden, jai wi ne nom. Who jai wi ne nom a abadam na be den.
But supported Afia Schwarzenegger for doing the same thing.
Me, I support Afia Schwarzenegger.
Sir.
Yes.
Who say you support her?
Okay.
I support her.
Comrades with the same taste for violence slide together. So it was not even surprising when Kwame A Plus revealed on the United Showbiz that he is actually close friends with Afia Schwarzenegger, Shatta Wale, and Councillor Lutrot, who were all part of the top 5 controversial ranking list.
And I've made it very clear that I won't come and sit here. Me Madam for Papa. It me for Madam for Bertrand Besopan. Madam for Ayadi here. I'm not going to. Yes.
Would you say that is being loyal or being biased?
I want to be the leader who be slapping people so that the country will change. So be a president I will boom.
If you vote for me as president of Ghana, at my inauguration, I'll tell everybody that I'm not running again. Everybody will see a significant change because I am not looking for another term. You won't have in someone prison sitting here, feeding people 3 times a day for doing nothing. There should be mechanized farms there. People must work on the farm, and you are going to work and you get paid. The pay is going to your, if you are married, I'll send the money to them so that they don't starve. We cannot always talk about Christians and not talk about the Muslims. Me, if I become a president of Ghana, one thing that I will do, number one, nobody can arrange a speaker by roadside and be preaching on a Monday morning, Tuesday, and preach. I will arrest you, you go and work on the farm. You go to church on Sundays. You go to the mosque on Fridays. So listen to this carefully. I will also not allow people to put speakers on mosque. You have to know your time to go to the mosque. If you're a good Muslim, you should know what is the right time to go. Saudi Arabia or a Muslim country, if they have a speaker on every mosque in Saudi Arabia, making in Saudi Arabia,
Quick question: would you vote for Kwame Obeng Asare as president?